For more on the outlook for small businesses, we are joined by Bill Dunkelberg. Bill is chief economist of the National Federation of Independent Business. That's the group behind the survey that Gigi is talking about, showing executives are growing more confident about the future. But as we pointed out, it's not that confident. Is it, Dr. Dunkelberg? I mean, you've still got people really worried about poor sales and obviously not hiring.
That's true. Let's talk first about the credit part. Here's the problem with credit is, and I'll just give you some simple examples. Normally, we build 1,600,000 houses every year, start them, rental units and so on. We're only doing 600,000. That means for 1 million housing starts, where small companies go to small banks and get a construction loan, not happening. I mean, there is no credit demand. So it's true that loans have gone down, but it's gone down not because the banks won't lend. It's down because people aren't asking for the money.
So, Bill, how should we read these data points? I mean, after 19 months, negative months, we've got a positive month. So that's good. But is it really, really good when you dig down into the data points?
Yeah, it isn't really good in this sense. We spent 7 quarters around below or around the 90 mark. We're now 92.2, which is barely above. Those are recession-level numbers if you look at the 35-year history of the survey. So they're not great numbers. On the other hand, you can look at the half-full part. Over the last 2 months, the index has gained 5.4 points, and that's a pretty steep jump. It just didn't jump to an exuberant level. You know, we still got a long way to go. On the job side, we finally turned positive after 19 months where more firms plan to cut employment than to raise it. We now have a +1, but you know it ought to be running +10. So compared to other past recessions, big ones, you know, we're not recovering at all quickly.
I wonder what the problem is here. I mean, you point out that even in mild recessions, you saw housing come back and sort of pick up the slack because construction jobs were added. Clearly, that's not the case here. Is that the main concern?
That's certainly one of them. If you look at even after 90-91 recession, which was not a very deep one compared to what we just went through, you know, there were 100,000 plus new jobs in the first year in construction, and lots of new firms were formed. Well, we can't do that now because we still are trying to get rid of the millions of extra houses we built in the 03 to 07 period, when not only did we build too many houses, but we built too many strip malls, we opened too many restaurants, we had too many retail outlets, and of course we accumulated too much inventory to satisfy a consumer that was not saving. Once they start saving, there's too much of everything, and we're trying to adjust that.
Hey, Bill, speaking of inventories, we know a lot of what's been going on as of lately was all those companies that pared their inventories down. They've been replenishing, stockpiling once again. But does that start to run out of steam in your view, looking ahead?
I think it does. You know, we had, talk about bad numbers, we had 26 straight months where more firms cut inventories than raised them, but now we're at the point where as many firms say inventories are too low as too high, and that's the best, about as good a balance we've ever seen in 35 years. So it's rare that we get at a 0 number here for the net who think it's too small. And we saw a positive number finally in the net percent planning to add to inventories on purpose. So, you know, we're moving in the right direction, but, you know, it accounted for half the GDP growth in the first quarter. And the question is, how long can that go on?
But you still think we need some stimulus here to help small businesses in the form of tax cuts, right?
Well, you know, tax cuts are a good idea, especially in the long run. But right now, you know, think of the tax cut as just giving me a cash prize. You know, you're going to give me some money. The question is, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to hire a worker who can't earn his or her keep with higher sales over the next 3 months? Am I going to get a piece of equipment whose output I can't sell over the next 3 months? And the answer really is no. I think we still need to focus on helping the consumer financially and psychologically. You know, the consumer is a wreck psychologically. They're very confused about what's going on. We need them to spend more. It's that weak sales problem that we need.
Why? You know, we know that small businesses are the key to adding jobs. The administration at one point said adding jobs back to this economy is its job #1. We had, you know, small business task forces get together in the form of Goldman Sachs with millions and millions of dollars. Did that all peter out? I mean, what happened? Why did we not see the job creation, the small business help?
Well, one reason may be that they didn't invite small business to the job summit. You know, they had GE and Goldman Sachs. Hello, not a lot of jobs there. So they might have been talking to people, you know, at street level to find out what's really needed. Again, 30% of our people say weak sales is their problem. Only 3% in May said financing is a problem. 92% said they got all the credit they wanted or they didn't want any. You know, that's not the issue now. It will become an issue as the private sector recovers, because we're going to run headlong into financing a $1.5 trillion deficit.
Right.
Then we'll be competing with the government.
All right, we got to run. Hey, Bill, thank you so much. Bill Dunkelberg, chief economist over at the NFIB.